Tonight, a preview to this year's Storytelling Festival.
Plus the latest art in Troy. Stay tuned, Troy TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for January 25th, 2013. I'm Rachel Scarborough.
And I am Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. This weekend, the art of storytelling will return to the Trojan Center stage, but this morning, area school children got a taste of what many are calling a lost art. Sydney Todd has the story.
Students of all ages had the chance to preview some of the stories and songs that will be featured at this weekend's Pike Storytelling Festival. Seventh-generation storyteller Sheila K. Adams brought down the house with thrills, shrills, and murderous ballads.
What I'm going to do today for some high school students and college students is tell what they used to call a booger tale at home, which is about, of course, a ghost. That seems to usually work better for older kids. And I'm also going to sing a couple of songs that are traditional ballads that I learned in my family because they were still singing them when I was growing up over there in the 50s in this little small mountain community.
As she started singing her first song, the audience was simply captivated as she began to shed some light on what is now being called a lost art.
In an age of no computers, no telephones, and TV, this is the only way people had to entertain themselves. And they can also find out from their own family stories of ancestry, that sort of thing. Because one of these days, telling stories is going to be important to all these folks in the audience.
As the story came to a close, our storyteller did not fail to leave the audience without a surprise ending.
I was definitely surprised, to say the least. It was good. It was an interesting experience to go through. It was sort of a different sort of entertainment than we're typically used to seeing around here.
Sydney Todd, Troy TrojanVision News.
The Pike Storytelling Festival will be this Saturday at the Trojan Center Theater. Showtimes are at 10, 2, and 6:30. Tickets are still available for the 10 and 6:30 shows and will be sold at the door. $10 for the morning show and $15 for the evening performance.
A new organization on campus is trying to make the university more handicapped friendly. And yesterday afternoon, they hosted a speaker that knows the challenges some people with disability face. Miss Wheelchair Alabama 2011, Dr. Natalie Whalen, came to speak to the members of the Students Concerned About Disability Awareness, or SCADA, on Thursday afternoon.
She called Troy, wanted to come talk to us, and so we're like, that'd be great. So she came over and she could tell her story about it and kind of inspire people who aren't quite so aware about, what this all means.
Dr. Whalen's main goal was wanting to teach the Troy students about being a self-advocate, whether a person is disabled or not. But what is a self-advocate?
That's a person that is able to understand their needs and what they require in order to stay as independent as possible and live as full a life as possible.
What does she hope the students got out of her message?
That everybody needs to be an advocate for themselves, and they need to be advocates for people who cannot be advocates for themselves.
The president of SCADA hopes that Dr. Whalen's speech will encourage anyone with a disability on campus to come to the meetings to discuss what can be fixed around campus.
It helps us be able to help them better, as we only know as far as we've been aware of, and we can do our best, but they know better than we do.
Anyone who is interested in joining SCADA, their next meeting is February 5th at 4 p.m. in the Trojan Center Lounge. Well, Bailey, the Pike County Cultural Arts Center has many types of art for Pike County residents.
That's absolutely right, Rachel. And if you're in town this weekend, you might want to stop by and see their latest exhibit. The Johnson Center for the Arts currently has a contemporary exhibit on display entitled Celebrating African American Artists. The exhibit features a variety of works from art collector Paul R. Jones.
Paul R. Jones was an African-American man who collected artwork by other African-American artists, and then he donated 1,700 of his pieces to the University of Alabama, which we loaned these pieces from.
More than 40 pieces of art dating from the early 80s to the late 90s are on display at the Johnson Center and showcase a wide range of artwork from the Jones collection.
We have paintings, we have photographs, we have sculpture, we have watercolor. We really have a variety of mediums as Mr. Jones collected every type of artwork that there was.
Celebrating African American artists will be on display from January until March. Drinkard says each piece of art has impressive quality, and the Johnson Center is proud to showcase such a collection.
We really just wanted to have an exhibit that celebrated contemporary African American artwork, and we think that this exhibit shows the quality of these pieces. All of these artists were trained African American artists, and their skill set is just impeccable and something to definitely learn and grow from and be appreciative of the works that they created.
Drinkard says that Jones donated his collections in hopes that the pieces could be used as a means of learning, a service that the Johnson Center hopes to provide for students and the residents of Pike County.
Mr. Jones donated a lot of his artwork to different colleges because he wanted them to be used for educational purposes. He wanted this collection to be shown in museums where people would be able to celebrate and understand and learn from these artists who created these immaculate pieces.
There will be a ceremony for the African American Artist exhibit on Friday, February 1st. Drinkard says the ceremony is in conjunction with Troy University's Leadership Conference celebrating African American History Month.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Midfield, police say a toddler who was riding in a stolen SUV has been reunited with her aunt. A woman who was dropping off children at a daycare in Brighton was attacked by another woman who pulled a knife on her and stole her purse. Police say the victim followed the purse snatcher, who then drove off in the woman's SUV. No arrests have been made.
And in Huntsville, NASA is looking to the Apollo program for new ideas to develop the next generation of rockets for future space missions. Engineers are learning the technology behind liquid propulsion and thinking about how it can be updated and improved.
And in Irondale, police have opened a homicide investigation after a hiker discovers human remains in a wooded area. Investigators this morning found more bones, which appear to be a rib, arm, and pelvis.
And still to come on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, both basketball teams were in action last night looking to end a couple of losing streaks. Justin McNally will let you know how they fared coming up in sports.
But first, today, Vice President Joe Biden is hitting the road to push for new gun control measures. We'll have that story and more after the break.
As the debate over gun control heats up, the Vice President takes the White House's pitch for stronger laws on the road. I'm Tara Merchiner in Washington with the story coming up.
I want to work in the NFL.
Troy University's College of Health and Human Services prepares students for high-demand careers of today and tomorrow. Careers offering attractive pay and the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others.
My courses aren't just classwork. I've worked with the Department of Human Resources to put my skills to work with helping people. I couldn't think of anything else I'd rather be doing.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Rachel Scarborough at the Global News Desk. Rachel?
Thanks, Bailey. Today, Vice President Joe Biden is hitting the road to push for new gun control measures. His trip to Virginia comes one day after Democrats proposed an assault weapons ban, but gun rights advocates from both parties opposed the legislation. Tara Mergener has the latest from Washington.
Virginia is a pro-gun state, and that's where Vice President Joe Biden is taking the argument for gun control. Biden is meeting with experts who worked on gun safety following the 2007 shooting at Virginia Tech. The vice president's visit is part of a campaign-style push for new gun laws. On Thursday, he held a web chat.
There is no sporting need that I'm aware of to have a magazine that holds 50 rounds.
And on Thursday, Democrats unveiled a bill that would ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. But Democrats are going to have a tough time getting the legislation passed. Many lawmakers on both sides of the aisle oppose new restrictions on firearms.
Committee hearings.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell released this robocall in his home state of Kentucky.
President Obama and his team are doing everything in their power to restrict your constitutional right to keep and bear arms.
What next? Blanche Lincoln is a hunter and former Democratic senator from Arkansas. She'd like to see lawmakers find a compromise.
There's plausible regulations that need to be put into place, and it needs to be done in a reasonable fashion, and there's good people in the middle that know and understand that.
The Obama administration is trying to rally public support to put pressure on Congress, but it will be a challenge getting lawmakers from pro-gun states to support an assault weapons ban. Tara Mergener for CBS News, Washington.
Osteoarthritis affects about 27 million Americans, mostly in their knees. Now, a new study shows certain types of exercise can have big benefits. Teresa Garcia reports.
Keep it moving. We're still walking forward.
Masood Mofid has been taking this water workout class for 15 years to help his osteoarthritis.
The pain was mainly done in the knees. I was able to walk perhaps first 2-3 blocks, then it shrank to almost 1 block.
Now, new research from the University of Minnesota School of Public Health shows that certain types of exercise may help knee osteoarthritis more than others.
If you do some low-impact aerobic exercise, if you do some aquatic therapy, you can improve your life, and you can improve your quality of life, reduce your pain.
The Arthritis Foundation sponsors programs like this one all across the country for thousands of people coping with arthritis.
Osteoarthritis is a joint disease that is the #1 cause of disability in the U.S. Doctors say sticking to an exercise program is key to relieving pain and improving mobility.
If you move the knee and get the knee moving gently under low loads, it is very healthy for your tissues around the knee.
Longtime osteoarthritis sufferer Kit McCormick agrees working out in the pool helps her stay active.
Straight arm.
I'm doing things in the water that I cannot do on land. But when I get out of the water, it's wonderful.
Proving the right, consistent exercise program can make all the difference. Teresa Garcia, CBS News, La Cañada, Flint Ridge, California.
A London taxi driver is taking an unusual route to pursue his passion. His antics behind the wheel are giving passengers an unforgettable ride. Krista Erickson reports from London.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
Aidan Kent is usually singing in the rain. Not these days.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Meet London's singing cab driver.
The singing cabbie has got to get out there and entertain and make people's lives a little bit smilier. I love you.
He's welcoming passengers in from the cold with his warm notes. The cruising crooner was belting out British music until about 8 years ago when a passenger left some Frank Sinatra CDs in his cab.
And I just got hooked. I was just hooked. I know what I want to do.
In a city with about 25,000 registered cabs, if you happen to hail his, well, Aidan Kent is in the driver's seat. You're getting a tribute to old Blue Eyes, whether you want it or not.
Some are a little bit sort of, you know, what's going on.
Kent says he had no musical training growing up, so he got a singing teacher and took 3 years of lessons. He performs at weddings, pubs, and clubs.
Because you are all I long for.
But he still gets a kick out of serenading passengers.
And they tip you.
And now Kent is thinking of taking his act on the road to the bright lights of Las Vegas. In London, Krista Erickson for CBS News.
Thank you very much. My name's been Aidan Kent. I'm going to see you again real soon. Good night, everybody.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, such as how 2 Shetland ponies in sweaters are a big sensation, you can tune into Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Rachel. And now Justin McNally joins us for a look at sports. So, Justin, both the men's and women's basketball teams were in action last night, hoping to get a conference win.
That's right. Both teams were in action. Both teams looking to end a couple of losing streaks, and they were both at home. I want to go ahead and apologize in advance for anybody who left the men's game early or just chose not to go because they missed a great game. Okay. And 3 was the number of the day for the Trojan men's basketball team. They were looking to avoid a 3-game losing streak, hoping to extend their home winning streak to 3 games, and a clutch 3 gave the Trojans an exciting victory.
Well, just like he did against Mississippi State back in November, Emil Jones had the ball in his hands late in the game, and he did not disappoint. That 3-point jumper with 2 seconds remaining sent the game into overtime, where the Trojans propelled to a 74-67 victory and halted a 2-game losing streak.
And you know, it's more than just making the shot. I just want to make the right play. So that's why I feel like I want it in my hands, just so I can make the right play. Whether it's me hitting the shot like tonight or just kicking it to a teammate, get them a good look.
The Trojans defense stepped up in the second half, holding the Red Wolves without a basket in the final 6 minutes of regulation and the entire time in overtime. And head coach Don Maestri knows that without this solid effort, Jones' shot would not have even mattered.
And then we did some things at the end of the game to put us in a position for Emil to make, one of those lucky shots. But if we wouldn't have done other things prior to that to get that close, we wouldn't have been able to hit that, one of those shots, which every now and then you get a luck shot.
4 of Troy's players finished in double figures, with Jones leading the way with 16 points. And the extra help really helped out Jones and Hunter Williams.
So many good things happened tonight. Other players stepped up, like Tevin Calhoun and Jeff Malahy and Josh Warren and Antoine Myers, besides just Hunter Williams and Emil.
The Trojans will hit the court again on Saturday, looking for a season sweep of Louisiana Monroe. That game will be in Monroe beginning at 4 o'clock. And the Trojan women's basketball team has been looking to find that little spark to jumpstart them on the right track and end this losing streak. However, a poor shooting performance will not help out.
Shot after shot after shot after shot and after shot. For a team that leads the conference in shooting percentage, what does Coach Rigby believe caused her team to shoot a measly 32%?
But it's keeping a winning mental attitude, so you can make the easy shots when you do get them, so you can make the free throws when you get them, and you're believing you're a winner. You're believing you're going to win it.
The Trojans fell last night to the Red Wolves 87-74 to extend their season-long losing streak up to 8 games. The Trojans held an early 4-3 lead, but that was the only one they saw the entire night. Ashley Beverly Kelly led the Trojans with 21 points, and Joanna Harden added 14 more. But Coach Rigby wants her to score some more.
She loves to pass the ball. She loves to get assists, and that's been the hardest thing this year is to tell her, on this team this year, you cannot be a passer for us. You've got to shoot. You've got to score.
Even though they are sitting at 3-15 on the season and 0-9 in conference play, Rigby has a request from the Trojan faithful.
We're going to get there, though. Stick with us, Trojan Nation.
The Trojans will still be searching for their first conference win of the season as they travel to ULM on Saturday to take on the Warhawks. Tip-off for that game is set for 2 o'clock. And after an impressive showing in class last year, Troy will be inducting a second class into the Troy University Sports Hall of Fame on April 20th. The class will be announced in the coming months, and the date for the ceremony has been moved up to accommodate the T-Club weekend. The ceremony will end with the annual T-Day game, as well as both baseball and softball being in action on Troy's campus. Fans can reserve a seat or a table for 8 by calling Helen Shirley at 334-670-3482. So, Bailey, Rachel, it was a pretty good performance last night from the women's side. They just couldn't get the victory, in that losing streak. But as I said, the men's game, great game, down to the wire, sent it to overtime, and a great win to get back on the right track for them.
Absolutely, it's always good to get a win, a conference win, and it's too bad about the women's, but best of luck next time.
That's right. Maybe Saturday they can pull off a win.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you, Justin.
Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll learn about Troy Yearbook's publication, The Palladium.
But first, this week started out with chilling temperatures, but today seems to be warming up just a little bit. What can we expect for the weekend, Courtney?
Well, Betty, it looks like it's time to put away those jackets for for a little bit longer because this weekend's looking very warm. But I'll have more on that coming up next in weather.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy. My sport is football, but my passion is education. Right up here. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour Lights there, darks there. to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Find out how you can live united for education. Give, advocate, volunteer. Go to liveunited.org.
Do you wear this?
I was looking for something that if I had to take online, I could still take it, but I wanted that personal touch that Troy offers. I needed to be able to work around my schedule because I still support my family full time, and I needed to be able to be flexible, and Troy met those needs.
On campus or online, Troy offers you an extraordinary education with the flexibility you need. Troy University. It's all you need to know.
My name is Jeremy. I am a criminal justice major with Homeland Security. I needed to reinvent myself, and I chose Troy.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Courtney Addison joins us for a look at weather.
So, Courtney, I hear the temperatures may be rising pretty soon.
Exactly. And this weekend, we could be seeing temperatures into the high 60s, but even going and starting into next week, we're going to start to see temperatures into the 70s, but I'll have more on that a little later. First, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. Look at our campus snapshot. It's a cloudy day outside. The wind has picked up a significant amount, so if you're going to be outside, make sure you keep like a little bit of a light cardigan on hand because temperatures have dropped from what they were this afternoon. And looking at our current conditions, skies are partly cloudy, temperature coming in at 68, dew point at 51, humidity at 54, barometer coming in at 30.16 and steady, and winds coming in from the southwest at 14 miles per hour. Looking at today's stats, we have a high of 70, a low of 51. There was no rain. Sunrise was at 6:43 a.m. and the sun set at 5:12 p.m. Looking at our temperatures from around the state, for the most part, it is a very cloudy day outside in the state of Alabama. We have Mobile coming in at 68, Birmingham at 63, Huntsville a lot more colder than we are, coming in at 46, Montgomery at 69, Troy 68, Phoenix City at 62, and Dothan coming in at 69. So for the most part, everyone is seeing temperatures into the 60s, a lot warmer than we have been. But if you're going to be traveling anywhere up north into Huntsville, Birmingham area, it is a little more chilly there. Looking at temperatures around the southeast, if we see around on the coastline, temperatures are a lot warmer than they are. But if we look up in the Carolinas, they are seeing temperatures into the 20s and the 30s. But if we look back west, temperatures are coming in the high 70s. So we could look for some of those temperatures to work their way into our area first of next week. That's just something we'll have to keep an eye on. Looking at current temperatures around the United States, we're seeing temperatures a lot warmer than we are, but if we look up north into Maine and the northeastern part of the United States, they're seeing temperatures into the teens, so very, very chilly up there. Looking at our departure from normal, we're a lot warmer than we usually are this time of the year. We're seeing temperatures about 10 to 11 degrees warmer. Farther up north, they're seeing temperatures a lot cooler than they usually are, about 16 degrees lower than they are. Looking at our current surface map, for the most part, lots of high-pressure systems developing out west, not having a whole lot of effect on our area right now. We'll have to look for those coming into our area within the next couple of days. Looking closer into our area, we see this cool front, which has caused all of our temperatures to change, and this high-pressure system lingering out in the Gulf of Mexico, causing different temperature changes and going into the weekend and start of next week. Looking at our precipitation forecast, we should remain clear for the most part in our area, but if you're going to be traveling to northern part of Georgia or in the Carolinas, they could be experiencing up to an inch to a half an inch of rain. Going into Saturday's forecast, things should remain clear for the most part, and going into Sunday should remain clear, so we should have a beautiful weekend ahead of us. Going into Monday, still remaining clear, but we do see this band of showers starting to form, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Going into Tuesday, still should remain clear for the most part, but if you're going to be traveling any farther out west into Texas, parts of Louisiana, Arkansas, they could be seeing up to a half inch of rain. Going into tonight's forecast, we have partly to mostly cloudy skies, a 20% chance of rain with winds coming in from the west-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour with a low of 51. Going into tomorrow's forecast, we have partly cloudy skies, intervals of clouds and sunshine in the afternoon, and light winds coming in from the north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour with a high of 68. So it's going to be a lot warmer tomorrow than it has been in the past. So if we go on to our 4-day forecast, we see temperatures are going to be warming up throughout the weekend and into Monday. Have that 20% chance of rain for tomorrow and Tuesdays, and lows in the 40s and 50s. So, Rachel Bailey, things are going to be warming up a little bit over the weekend, but starting on Monday, we're going to be starting seeing temperatures into the 70s. So it's going to be a lot warmer for the first of next week.
Okay, thank you so much, Courtney.